wrestling with AEW Double or Nothing. Took place in Queens, New York. Um, RIP Scooter Dust. At the Louis Armstrong Stadium. Attendance was 14,394. And honestly, it seemed like there was more people in that crowd, if I'm being completely honest. It looked like a packed crowd. And if I'm being honest, one of the best crowds I've seen in quite some time. Like WWE or AEW, honestly. Like every all the shit that they were feeding them, like they fucking ate it up. And that's the kind of crowd you want, honestly. The show as a whole, I didn't think was bad, which is saying something for me because like I not a fan of AEW. Maybe I just watched this in a good mood, but I felt what needed to be done was done for what they were doing. So, I think that they made like the right, choices in some regards. So let's talk about it. First match on the main card, New York Street Fight. How is it a why isn't that just an I Quit match? Ugh. An I Quit match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. If Cope and Cage lose, they will have to disband as a tag team forever. Already in the twilight of their career, so maybe like another like what 6 months. Um, Cope and Cage, Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus Dak Shepard, Cass Hardwood, FTR. Um, Cage and Cope won in 19 minutes 35 seconds. Okay match. Had its Gaga. I mean, it wasn't overly ridiculous when it came to the things that they did when it came to the gaga of it all. It wasn't like too offensive. Like I mean, it didn't use like syringes or anything like that. It wasn't overly bloody either. So I mean, and it was the best way to start the show as well. I mean, in all honesty, get the crowd was hot. They were ready, and they delivered. A car crash, and that's essentially what it was. Good moment for Cope and Cage. Another tag team title run under their belt. Bet made an appearance, so that's nice as well. All in all, did what it needed to do. It didn't feel 19 minutes either, so that's good as well. Um, then again, I was doing other things while I was watching the show as well, so maybe that had attributed to as well. That being said, I give this a 3.5. Alright, then we have Kolkutska take Shida, defeated Kazuchika Okaya, to capture the AEW International Championship in 19 minutes. Honestly, another good match. Very New Japan-esque. You know, it's rare to actually see Okada put effort into a match nowadays. And obviously, Take a Shit is like on the rise. And I mean, I could make the argument he needs to be in the title picture right now. People are high on him. You know, why not pull that trigger on somebody that hasn't been in that picture to begin with? But I digress. Um, Good heat for both guys. Obviously, it ended with the Don Callis family turning on Konosuke. Um, then Kyle Fletcher came in, returned. Like his music hit and like the crowd popped and like I didn't even know I didn't know whose music it was, if I'm being honest. And then when he came out, I was like, really? That pop for him? Question mark? Question mark? Exclamation point? Question mark. It seemed like it was going to be a nice little moment for Kyle to, help Konosuke and, kind of, strike out on his own. It was not to be. Um, Kyle attacked Konosuke, making his intentions clear. Where that leaves Okada, I don't know at this point, but obviously things are not done between the two of them. Um, 3.5 stars. Women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match. Athena defeated Mina Shirakawa in for 11 minutes. If I'm being honest, I don't remember that much of this match. I remember Mina's entrance, of course, Mina. But I mean, if you can't really remember a lot of what happened, like you kind of feel like that's a sign that the match wasn't that memorable to begin with. Happy for Athena. She won on paid preview, which is like, rarer than snow and hell at this point. Um, but yeah, I'd probably give this 2.5, and the crowd was dead for it as well. So that was, unfortunate, but also, a factor as well. So 2.5. Then we have no time limit match for the AEW Continental Breakfast Championship. John Moxley, no longer a Nazi, defeated Kyle O'Reilly parts in 18 minutes 45 seconds. Decent match. I feel like it could have been better and maybe like 5 minutes shorter. But I mean, hey, that's most of AEW's matches. Um, Nothing. I don't remember anybody bleeding, so I mean that's good, which is immediately gives it a star bump, in my opinion. Um, but it was way too long, and the longer these matches go, especially a John Moxley match, it's hard to get invested if I'm being honest. So I would give this 3.5. It was 3-star match. Moxley not bleeding bumped it to 3.5. Alright, men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match. Will Ospreay defeated Samoa Joe in 13 minutes, 55 seconds. I do stay, find us a bad Samoa Joe match. Like, legitimately. Show me a match that Samoa Joe has had that was bad. This was definitely not a bad Samoa Joe match. It was good. Good match, good heat. Didn't overstay its welcome. Did exactly what it needed to do in the time allowed, and it succeeded in my opinion. 4.5. Yeah, this succeeded for me. 4.5. Um, Owen Hart, uh, a men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match. Swerve Strickland defeated Bandito in 15 minutes 20 seconds. Match should have ended with that high kick, where he was on Bandito's uh, shoulders and he kicked him in the face. Like that was like an awesome spot, if I'm being honest. And then obviously the swerve stomp at I mean that should have been the end of it. 3 minutes too long. Still not a bad match. Um 3.5 stars. To claw defeated, who are you? Sheeta, Jamie Hayter, and Chris Statlander to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. 14 minutes. Um, I, you know, I've yet to see a bad match with Tekla. I don't know what she does on AEW TV, but her paid preview matches are quite good, if I'm being completely honest. Um, I like the match. I think that Tekla is performing on a higher level than a lot of the girls nowadays, and that's not just AEW I'm talking about. I mean, in WWE as well. Like she's one of the top performers. So in and out of the ring. I think that she's a solid promo. I think that she's a solid hand in the ring. She knows how to tell a story. She knows how to sell. And I think everything that she does works. So, this worked for me. 3.5 stars. We have Stadium Stampede with a bunch of fuckers that I don't wish to say all their names. We have the Elite, the Horde Syndicate, and Chris Jericho versus the Demand, the Don Callis family, and the Dogs with Andrade. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I, I didn't watch the match. I knew that this was a clusterfuck of what the fuck, and I just, kind of tuned out at that point. Like, nothing that was on the screen was interesting me. The Elite with Jericho were just, they all wore suits, so it was kind of hard to distinguish everybody from each other. I didn't even know how many guys was actually in the match because there's so many fucking guys in the match. And yeah, it was just, diarrhea doesn't have that as much splat as this match had when it came to people in it. Like, there's at some point self containment, I honestly. Like, take Pepto Bismol. It took me like maybe 15 minutes to realize David Finlay was in the match, if I'm being completely honest. And that's when I was looking up at the screen. I was like, oh, David Finlay is in this match. I didn't even know who Clark Connor was. And I know who Clark Connor is. So yeah, I mean that. And I mean, we're just kind of overshadowing the fact that Jack Perry murdered a guy, Mark Davis, and like there was like no reaction to that whatsoever. I I did not like this. -1 star. Then we have title versus hair match for the AEW World Championship. If MJF loses the match, he would have to shave his head. Um, MJF defeated Darby Allin in 23 minutes, 10 seconds. It was a good match. Um, I mean, at this point, you're kind of burnt out, whether you watched it in the whole thing or, in two segments like I did. I watched 2 hours and 2 hours. So, I mean, I was kind of burnt out after watching, what, an hour and a half of this. And yeah, but I still watched the match. I think it did what it needed to do. I mean, Darby is Darby at this point. He's going to do stupid shit. Um, MJF, I don't think he needed to say, not a part of any of the crappy boroughs to get the heat. Like, they're in his hometown, well, his home state, so I mean, he's gonna get cheers one way or the other. But I mean, the most, AEW main event, I would say. I mean, two guys that started off in the company. Uh, I don't know if Darby legitimately busted himself open or if that was planned. Which I mean is kind of nice because if you're questioning it, then you know that it wasn't, you question if, it was intentional or not, and that's nice to think, at the in the moment. Um, but yeah, like I said, Darby had a nice little run with the championship. MJF is the champion again. Um, Business is probably going to be good with MJF on top. It usually is. So yeah, 3.5 stars. I'll give it. All right. Show as a whole, thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Begrudgingly, I give this a thumbs up. Um, there was good matches on this card, honestly. And if there was ever an AEW show I would consider going back and watching, this would be it. If I'm being completely honest, the first dream matches were good. I would definitely go back and watch Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay again. Swerve and Bandito surprisingly sleeper hitter. If I had to, subtract anything from the show, I would say that, the Stadium Stampede match, I would definitely speed that shit up, on 4, speed up bars. But everything else was surprisingly tolerable, if I'm being honest. So, all in all, I give it a positive review. Alright, that will conclude our coverage of AEW Double or Nothing.
Hey, folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show. Support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.